Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. Welcome back to the Ted Show. You know this is one of my favorite times of the week because I get to spend time with my dear, wonderful, amazing, she's a guru, a goddess. Her name is Kendra Davies with Stellar Life Coaching. And today, hello, on our show, Talk It Out, we're going to talk about changing from I have to, changing your mindset and the way you speak from I have to I get to. I love this topic. It is life-changing if you can figure out how to do that. And Kendra's going to give us the tools and the tips and techniques on how to do that. Welcome, Kendra. How you doing?
Hello, everybody. I am excellent. How are you, Mr.
You
Bogert?
look excellent. I feel excellent, other than the allergies I was talking to you about. Apparently, pollen is high today. I don't know why. But that is not what this show is about. This show is about talking it out. So, hi, Rose. She says Rose. Rose says happy Tuesday. All right. So before we take a deep dive, tell us a little bit about you.
So my name is Kendra Davies. I'm a positive psychology practitioner and a life coach. I own Stellar Life Coaching here in Orlando, Florida. And I help my clients identify, define, and cultivate their own happiness using the transformative science of positive psychology.
So good. That is the best elevator speech. I mean, it's so concise, and you still put the own. We have to talk about it one day. You put the onus back on them to cultivate their happiness, and I love that. That's a whole different topic. Today, however, we're talking about mindset. Mind shift, the power of words, whether they're spoken out loud or thought in your brain, make an impact on you, which we talk about on the show a lot. This one in particular is so powerful to me. Changing your mindset from I have to I get to. So let's take a deep dive. First, why did you choose this? What is it about that mindset, that mind shift that you're like, I think we need to share that today?
Yeah. I think that I love it whenever, every week Ted texts me and says, what are we talking about? And in that moment, right, like I just spitball the things that are like present that I could use, like if I could just hop onto a podcast and hear a message that I need in this moment, what would it be? And weeks ago, I had written out going from I have to I get to. And this was inspired by a client of mine almost 3 years ago now, when we first started working together. He told me, like, when I asked him what his goal was, he said, I want to suck the marrow out of my life, like nothing left on the table. I want to live it fully. And in one of our conversations, he says, I need to get out of obligation, like away from have to I get to. And it was one of those like beautiful, pivotal moments, because for all of us, the mind is the key, right? And a lot of us don't pay attention to the fact that we have a choice, that everything is a choice, from how you choose to perceive, how you choose to react, the stories you choose to tell, the stories you choose to believe, and then the everything in between is a choice. And one of the choices that we make every single day is, are you going to wake up and have to do your day? Or are you going to wake up and get to do your day? What an honor and a luxury it is to have your day, right? Like, and again,
what if I'm not feeling that? So let's talk about this.
Yeah.
I have to. How many of us, I'm guilty of it too. Oh my God, I have to go to work when I used to work at a place that I didn't like to go to. Oh, I have to go to this event. I have to. Immediately, you don't realize it until you change it to I get to. You don't realize that it is a blessing. It's actually a gift that you get to do those things. But because of the way you frame it, the way you say it out loud or think it in your mind, it impacts your entire thought process on how to approach that event or that job or that relationship. I think it's so powerful. Just that little word from have to get is amazingly powerful and impactful in people's lives.
Well, and it's not... What I love about it is that nothing on the outside actually has to change for you to do the mind shift into get to. Does that make sense? Like,
Yes.
the job doesn't have to be different. Your boss is still an asshole. You don't like your coworkers. You're still tired from drinking too much the night before. You still feel all of the things, but you choose to shift your perspective. It doesn't undo what is done. It doesn't change any of the outside things. It's literally just looking at it from a different perspective. And a lot of the challenge and the pushback that I get, and like what a lot of people are hearing about now, is like toxic positivity. And this idea that you should just pretend like everything is great. I don't want anybody to pretend that everything is great. I want to recognize that we have an overemphasis, an overfocus on what is broken, what is not working, and knowing when it's broke doesn't help you understand how to fix. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So we have to be willing to see that if everything is a choice, then we actually get to choose the way we're going to perceive it. Things can be hard, and you can choose to be optimistic anyways. You can be afraid and then choose to be courageous anyways. It becomes a yes and, not a but.
But I think you're right. I think people get caught up in the but. I also know people that that they're so used to being negative. So to me, have to is a very negative kind of word. Have to just implies that it is a duty that I don't want to do. I'm dreading it. It's like an Eeyore statement. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are so used to that because that's how they communicate. That's how they were either trained. That's how they learned. And so to make that shift to the one word, if you say, I get to go to work and I hate my job, you're thinking I hate my job. Then, so how do you make that shift? Do you just say it out loud 1,000 times and all of a sudden you're feeling it? Or is it just by speaking it differently, you're putting it out in the world and the universe that you're going to approach it differently?
Well, I don't think that there's a way that you can just say, I get to, and then you feel better, right? Like there's work to be done. But here's what I would challenge anybody. You know, a lot of people, when they come to me, they say, I want to make money. I want to change careers. They pick something on the outside that they want to change.
Yes.
And our work together is rarely ever about money. You know, if somebody is trying to lose weight, I don't start with their diet and I don't start with a scale. Right? Like that's not, we often think that it's this thing on the outside that needs to be changed or morphed in order for us to be happy. And it's actually not. So the shifting from one mindset to another is simply saying, this is hard. I don't know what to do. This isn't the career that I'm going to be in for the rest of my life, but I do have a job. There is some benefit to this experience. I get a paycheck. And even if that's all that it is, I can acknowledge that that is still a good thing, even amongst the other shit that it comes with.
Right.
And that's okay. So it's not denying that your boss is an ass, and it's not denying that you're uncomfortable or that it's not what you want. It's a matter of saying, all of that is true, but I still have it. And until I have another plan, until I get the courage, until I make the decision, yet another choice. Until I do that, I do get to do this. This is an alternative that I get to do.
And think about it, like during COVID, especially during the height of the pandemic, people didn't have jobs, people suffered, so those of us who we got to go to work, we continued to have employment. Even if it wasn't the best employment for a lot of people, it was still a paycheck and they weren't having to fill out the crazy unemployment paperwork, which we all know in Florida was a nightmare. And there were so many things that you could. It's very easy, I think, for people to focus on the negative. It is the easiest thing for them. It's like low-hanging fruit. All right, I can tell you all the bad things. But the one focus, just a little bit, even though it might not change the situation, like you said, Kendra, it still gets you in one step, one chunk of that armor. You're actually, you're taking it away and you're actually thinking differently. And if you all don't think that that makes a difference, try it.
Woo. It sure does. And I think that, like, I don't want to use gratitude to bypass pain either, right? Like, correct. I don't want to promote that. This is literally just about recognizing that if we're making choices every day and we're going to choose to feel obligated and required to do this thing as if we don't have choice when we actually do, then which choice is actually going to feel better?
Right.
Probably the get to, right? The have to doesn't feel good, but getting to does. It honors the fact that you're choosing it. Even if by choosing it, you're choosing the thing that you don't want, you
Right.
still are responsible. And if you can take responsibility, that means that you can change it. Does that make sense?
Yes, totally.
I get to have this presentation. I get to be on the TED show. I get to mom my kid at 5 o'clock and take client calls and get dinner done. I get to do a lot of these things. Are these things heavy? Sometimes, yeah. Do I keep it all together and balance perfectly? No. But do I still get to do it? What is the alternative?
Right. Because how many people don't get to do it? How many people are unemployed? How many people would say, even though they don't know your situation, I need a job. I don't have one. You get to go to one, whether it's your favorite place or not. It's still shifting the way you think about things. And I'm telling you from my experience, Kendra's the pro here, but I can tell you as a layperson, it changes everything if you just make that shift. Now, I'm sure that there are people out there who are thinking, Kendra, all right, well, that sounds all hokey and, oh my God, we're all going to sing Kumbaya and get together. But I mean, you know, that's what people think sometimes when you and I are talking about this.
Uh-huh.
I want them, those are the people who are thinking that get to watch the show, get to learn from Kendra Davies, get to be coached if they're blessed enough to be one of your clients. They get to do that, even if they're addressing all the ugliness around them. They're still honoring, I love that word, honoring the fact that they get to do something. And that will change the shift. Eric just said, love this shift, right? Because it is a shift.
And do you know what I'm thinking about as we're talking? I think about, because I'm in recovery, right? So I think about when I work with somebody who's new or fresh into recovery and they're just getting clean or they're just getting sober. And I think about how difficult it is for them to practice gratitude. And yet it is often their desperation that causes gratitude, right?
That's
and
powerful.
when we're down, it is almost easier to find gratitude because you can just be grateful for lights and you can just be grateful for food and you can just be grateful to be alive, right? But when you have some sort of success, when you have a regular job, when you've got a partner, when you've settled down with your family, or you feel like your life is like going well, this is one of those things that it is an easy shift to keep that gratitude without having to find yourself in desperation. It is just a shift to remind you that some of these things, you have them because you worked hard and they're absolutely yours. And we can acknowledge and be grateful for it.
Agreed.
Like, I have no idea how electricity works, right? But I do get to flip that switch.
I have no idea how you're on the camera right now. I mean, the whole thing is when I turn on the TV, I'm like, how does that picture come in? Like, it is so far removed from my scheme of understanding.
Ted, what is the cloud?
Oh yeah, you and I could have an entire show about what is this. I think we would both somebody would have to hop on and help us because I think, but I think that what happens is people listen, and I love that you brought up the toxic positivity because that has been on my mind, and I think we should do a show on that because the denial part is not the I get to. These are different statements and thought processes, right?
Yeah. It's a choice to perceive a situation differently. This situation exists. You can choose to say, I have to do this. I feel obligated. I don't really want to. It's not part of my purpose. You can make up all the stories. Or you can say, all of that is still true, And I still get to do this.
Yes.
I still get to choose if I do this or not, and I'm choosing to do it. So I get to do it. It is recognizing that if you look at everything as a gift, gratitude begets gratitude. It is a shift that changes the way you see things. So the outside doesn't begin to change, but you change inside. It's changing from the inside out. Now, if you talk to people who are desperate, right? Like talking about somebody starting in recovery, or, I was watching a documentary, I think it's called Lost Angels, right? And it's about people who live on Skid Row. And it's like if you really put yourself in another person's shoes and you imagine what it takes to change your life, like really and truly. And we're human, so we need this example that makes sense, right?
We do.
But now put yourself in your life today and recognize how much is actually chosen. That at some point in time, whether you love this job or not, whether it serves you or not, you chose it. You chose it. So until you choose otherwise, you get to do it. You get to learn the lesson from that shitty boss. You get to keep on taking on the lessons and the things that the universe is trying to give you, or that you are insisting that you get yourself. If we don't like it, we can change it. We can choose differently. But what happens when we say I have to is it puts this sense, it's like an absence of choice.
Yes.
Does that make sense? So when I say I have to do it, it's like I'm somehow, if I don't do it, I'm going to die. And
it's forced labor. It when somebody says I have to, I'm really sensitive to that word. I have to. There is so much compounded negativity in that statement. It is a task, a chore. I get to shifts that off of you. I feel like I'm in a crazy battle right now. It's on 1,000 different levels, but I could say, I have to do this. I have to talk to so-and-so. I have to, oh my God, I have to do that so I can win the battle. I'm so excited I get to fight. I'm excited I get to participate actively in making sure this issue is conquered. I love that mind shift for me. But do I do it well every time? Hell no. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I have to go to the Citrus Club today. Think about that. That sounds so horrible when I say it out loud, but in my brain, I'm like, I have to go there. No, I am blessed and I get to be here. I get to go here. And I think those small little shifts are so important.
They are. And when we shift out of the have to, we embrace the responsibility, and if we're really honest with ourselves, that's the parts that we don't want. Agreed. We say we have to because it eliminates our responsibility and complicitness in the thing that we dislike. We don't want to admit that, you absolutely could find another job. You could spruce up your resume. You could make sure you got some good referrals. You could do these actions to change the situation, but you're not.
Yes.
And here's the thing. Nobody is pumped about that, right? Unless you're Kendra Davies. I get pumped about that, right? But when we shift, we recognize that it's a choice. And then we can be really honest with ourselves. Because listen, what hurts, it hurts us. Yes. When I have to do this, I get stuck in the loop. I get stuck in the loop of obligation. I lose control of my calendar. I'm not eating. I'm not sleeping well. I'm not taking care of myself. All of a sudden, I can't meditate and I can't journal and I can't go to meetings and I can't connect with my clients and I can't be present with my kid. So much gets lost when we give up our power. And one of the ways we give up our power is in this mindset of absolute obligation, as if we don't have a choice, but you do. And even if the choice is between two shitty things, it's still a choice. And also, just as a little nugget, oftentimes when we're stuck between the have to and a get to, and we're like, I definitely have to do this. I have to do this. I must. Yeah. When we can recognize that there is a sacred third, like a third option, we say it's this or this, and let's say that they both suck. If you had to like free your mind and create a third option, what would it be? A sacred third. There's a sacred third option in just about everything. We have to challenge ourselves to fight it. And a lot of the times it is about perception. It's changing the definition of something, you know? An example that I use all the time is how uncomfortable I am networking. You remember when you and I first met and you were like,
"Are you really?
Oh my gosh, Ted,
I think you brought it up before, but I blocked it. I can't believe that.
You could drop me on a stage in front of 5,000 people and my heart rate won't even go up. But you drop me off at a networking event or a dinner and I'm like,
I don't mean to laugh, but it's so, to me, doesn't seem like that fits because I know.
I know, but that's what it is. Okay, so like I have this, like I have to go because I want to promote my business. I want to grow. You know, I have a new cohort starting in July for Evolve, my online group coaching program. It's whatever.
Nice.
So I have to promote, right? Or I get to. It is an option. It can be a sacred third way of viewing a thing. Forcing ourselves out of the obligation and into what are the choices that I'm making that provide this. Even if those are the choices that limit me, what choices am I making? Right. What other choices could I make to open up other opportunities?
So
what is
good.
the sacred third?
I think first of all, if any of you are watching that, you know I love you, you need to hear this show. You need to make a shift. So those people who are close to me that if you think I'm talking about you, I'm 1,000% talking about you. So let's shift. Let's all help, because it's such an easy thing to say, I think. But I know people who struggle with it, and sometimes you just got to practice that stuff. It's just like a law of attraction, if you believe that. You really have to get into it and understand it and practice it. This isn't something I can say, I want $1 million, and I didn't say, oh shoot, law of attraction doesn't work. It's not here right now. You have to put the work in.
Yeah.
With somebody like Kendra Davies with Stellar Life Coaching. All right. Tell us how they can best reach you. What's the best way they can learn more? What's the best way you get to reach out to Kendra Davies?
So you can find me on Instagram at Stellar Coach. You can find me on Facebook. You can go to stellarlifecoaching.com. You can learn all about the programs and offerings that I have. We have the Phoenix Retreat coming up. We have Evolve, my new online group coaching program. Our cohort starts July 1st. So we are accepting registrations now. And then there's also the Slay Sessions, the online goal setting. If you are curious and ready to slay dragons and smash goals, you should check it out. And you can always message me directly on Facebook. Let me know your questions. I'm happy to help.
You're amazing. All right. I'm so happy I get to spend time with you today and every week. Love you to pieces. You guys reach out to Kendra. We're all struggling with something. Why not get somebody who actually knows what they're doing, which I know you do from firsthand experience. I love you to pieces. You're amazing. Kendra Davies, stellarlifecoaching.com or on Instagram at Stellar Coach. And of course, you can find her on Facebook. We love you. All right. We'll see you guys soon. Thank you, Kendra. We'll be back next week. You guys take care.